Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Coffee Talk Supplemental. Got my coffee. Just got a message from somebody asking me how to send them a replay. And I get asked this question quite a bit actually. I've been meaning to do a how-to video, so we're going to do right now a how-to video. I'm going to show you the basics of how to send me a replay. And some people kind of look at that and go, well, that's really simple. But you know what? We have all kinds of different skill levels on dealing with computers. I would say I'm a medium to slightly good at it. There are people obviously out there well worse than me. Also, let's just right up front, this is always to taste. If I say something wrong or if somebody has a better way of doing it, please put it down in the comments, because the way you set up your own file management, all of that is really kind of a personal thing. And the better you are at it, the more shortcuts you generally know on how to do these things. So we're going to start with the UI here on how to send a replay file to Guido, or anyone for that matter. There are multiple ways to do it. We're going to talk about a couple of the basic ones. First things first, though, is you've got to save the replays. The game saves replays in relatively small files, and it deposits them on your hard drive, one of your hard drives, usually the hard drive wherever your game is. All right, but before you can go dig those things out and figure out where they are, you've got to have it set up to save the replays. So what you're going to want to do is two ways to do it. You can come up here, go to settings, or you can go escape. If you didn't know that, we'll take you straight to this menu, and now you can go to settings. Where you are going to set what replays you save is right here on the general tab, bottom left, enable battle recording. Right there. That drop down is none, last, or all. None is self-explanatory. It will never save the replays. If you select none, you can't send me a replay. That's pretty easy, I think, anyway. Last is going to be only the last game. It will always save the last game. I recommend, if you're looking at replays or sending replays or doing anything with replays, I've also kind of started talking about how to do YouTube channels and things on some of my videos. So if you're looking to start up, try to be a CC, or do a YouTube channel, or do content for World of Tanks, and you want the replays, I highly recommend all. So click all, that's what I have. You've got to come down to the bottom right and apply that. If it's a different setting, it's not for me, right? Obviously, if I went last, I'd have to hit apply. I don't want that. I don't want none, that's for sure. All, apply, okay, back to game. And now, as you play your game, it will save the replays onto your hard drive, typically in the directory that has your game, okay? Actually, I don't know if there's any way to set it up to save it somewhere else. If anybody knows how to do that, go ahead and let me know. But really, it's however you set up your directory, and we'll talk about mine here in just a second. All right, let's find your replay files, and that's going to depend. If you're already savvy enough to have set up where your game goes, that's not the standard place. It wasn't loaded on your C drive in the basic standard folders that Wargaming sets up, then you'd probably know where your game is. If you don't know where your game is, as a general rule, you're going to want to get to your File Explorer. Now I have actually the shortcut down here on my bottom line up here, but you can also right-click, and it says File Explorer right there. I am using Windows 10, by the way, so it may be slightly different. But in any event, you want to go to the File Explorer, and everyone more or less knows where that stuff is. And you've got your list, hard drives and different things, the desktop, the documents, blah, blah, blah. My game happens to be on the C drive, so you're going to click on the C drive. Mine happens to be in a folder called Games. Double click for me. That's how mine is set up. And then there's my games for Wargaming. They're all in that Games folder. Again, you may have set that up slightly different, but you're looking to get to your World of Tanks folder wherever it lives. Double click that, and then replays. That's where they live. Pretty easy. Boom, and there's all the replays that I have saved up right now. They're relatively small files. If we go back and we right-click on the replays and we do a properties, doodah, slide it back over here, you can see it's only 217 megabytes, and I have, maybe 100 replays in there or so. It can start to get quite large. If you have had record all on for a long time and you haven't gone into that folder and cleared out those replays, you may want to do that. Just delete all of those bad boys. But down at the bottom, and it is by time, down here, see how the way they've got it set up, it will number them as it goes, and sorted by time. You can always sort them otherwise, but for me it's down at the bottom by time. That's the last one that I did. If you have selected to record only the last one, it's last battle. These will be the same recordings basically right here. You can see, actually one's larger than the other, so that's actually interesting with different times. So I'll be honest, I'm not really sure why is it doing that. 2018. Maybe that's when the file was created. I'm gonna have to look at that and see what that is. Interesting. In any event, you're gonna have all set, and that's the one that you're gonna want to send to me right there, okay? If that's the last one, or whatever it was. Things to note in these files. Number one, the maps are listed, but they're not always the same name. They're not always the same name, so don't get frustrated looking for it. The tanks are listed. So I played the Super Hellcat on Erlenberg. Erlenberg is Erlenberg in the files and in the game. Let me find one that's different. Asia Great Wall. It's not called a Great Wall, or is it? Can't remember what it's called actually. Empire's Border or some such. That's a good example. The tanks are not always the same. This is Super Hellcat. Okay, that's probably right. This is now the Renegade. The T-54E2 is the Renegade in game. Two examples of how that is. You can rename these. I actually have put another folder that I created myself. You don't know how to do that? Let's just right click, new folder. There's your new folder. And you can right click if you move away from it and rename. And it's just, we'll just name it XYZ. And I'll screw up. There we go. But I've named one Good Ones. I'm actually going to delete this. If I right click, delete, it goes away. Good Ones. Double click that. That's where I keep the game. So if I have a game here up in replays, and you can always go back a folder by clicking here or the back arrow. Say I want to keep this game right here. I'll click on it. I'll right click. You can cut or copy, however you want to do it. I usually cut because I don't want two copies of it around. Slide this bad boy back up. Double click into here. Right click again. Paste. And now I have that file in my Good Ones file, or if you want to send to Guido, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that way I can take some of the files out of the big replays file and put them in a place that's a little easier to watch, and these are the ones that I want anyway. Okay, if you click away from it, if you click once and then wait and click again, you can go in here and rename these things, and nothing matters here until .replay, which is the extension name. Okay, that's how the game knows that it's a replay file. So I can name it blah blah blah. Okay, and it doesn't matter. So you can see here that I've named this one Ace First Game. I usually just click somewhere towards the back of it and add to it. I want to keep the tank and I want to keep the map because that's important for me to remember what the heck it was, and then I'll put some blurb about just to remind me what happened. You can be aggressive in a TD is what I named this one. A Hellcat Ace First Game is what I named this one. Hellcat Game to send to Guido, whatever. To send to Klaus, to send to Quickie Baby, blah, blah, blah. If you want to keep track of them that way, okay? So that is the name convention, and that's how you do that. Back to replace. Okay, so now we know how to enable it on the UI. We know where it lives. We know a little bit about how to move the files around. Now, how do we get a file from here to Guido? All right, the best way to do it for me is to send me a link from wattreplays.eu. You can see that right there, wattreplays.eu. You'll come in here. You will have to log in. You can see I'm logged in with my Guido 1212 account. And there's a couple of different windows to click on, yada, yada. You're going to log in with your Wargaming account. This is basically a Wargaming site right here, even though it's .eu. And you can see that you can find replays. There's league stuff, there's compilations, there's Ace Tanker breakouts. But we're going to want to upload a replay. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take a replay from this folder that I showed you where it lives, or wherever it happens to live on your computer if you change it around. You're going to take one of these replays, you're going to upload it to this site, and then you're going to send me the link. All right, so what you want to do is click Upload Replay, and then you get a window that looks like this. Choose File is probably the easiest way to do it right there. You can click on Choose File, and now you're going to go ahead and it will come up to the last place you were in. For me, remember it was C, Games, World of Tanks, Replays. Pretty easy, right? Let's go to the good ones, and we're going to replay the one we named blah, 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 and just click Open. Okay, so there's the replay. It's going to want you to title it. I'm just going to title it Some Replay. You can put a description. Guido is testing replays. And then you can make available direct link only or disable comments. I don't mess with either one of those things, and upload replay. So you click that. It will upload the replay, and there it is. It will take you to its little page. Some replay is what the name of it is, and what was it? I was driving my T30. Now, this is interesting, and I'm glad I did this one. The reason these are all zeros is I didn't stay to the end of the game. If you don't stay to the end of the game, then you're going to get your replays not showing the end card right here. And that's a bit of a bummer sometimes. So if you don't screenshot your end cards in your client, and I'll do a video on that some other time, if you don't do that and you want to get back to the screenshots, if you didn't wait to the end of the game, you're not going to be able to get that info. So I have no idea how much damage I did. It does give a little bit of information, what the map was, what the tank was, who it was, Guido 1212, the time it was played, all that good stuff, but there it is, okay? That's how you do that. Now, what you want to do at that point then to send it to me is give me this link. The link is up here, right there. See that? If you click away from that and you click on it once with left click, it will highlight it. Right click and go copy, and now you have a copy of it that you can send to me. Okay, so right click and copy, or Control C. Control C and Control V right below it, which is paste, are your friend, because there are times, especially in the UI, that you cannot right click because the UI doesn't support that. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. So once you right click and copy it, then send it to me via an email or in-game on the UI or on the Discord if you're in the Discord with me. Multiple ways. As long as you can paste that link to me somehow, then I will be able to get to this site and download, here's the button right here, download that replay to my hard drive, and I'll be able to watch that replay. Does that make sense? So let's talk just a little bit about the client piece of that. All right, last things last. So you can right click and paste that into an email. I'm assuming everyone knows how to do an email. So go ahead, if you want to do it that way, that's just fine. Send me the link via email. On Discord is another possibility, or in the client in game right here. So we all know how to use this little message thing here. Let's just use Noble Wolf. He sent me a message. So we're taking a look at this. Happy Thanksgiving, all that good stuff there. And let's say I want to send this replay to Noble Wolf. Remember, I've already copied it, either with Control C or with the right click, okay, out of my browser. But if I right click here, the UI for Wargaming does not support right clicking and pasting. That's fine, because now I'll just reach down and I'll go Control V, and there it is. And Control C and Control V are awesome, because let's say I want to copy this bit of text right here. Notice I can't right click, doesn't work. I go Control C, I come down here, Control V, there's the text. All right, Control C and Control V are fantastic shortcuts. If you don't know them, learn them. They're awesome. All right, that really helps out. Then just send me, I won't send this to Noble Wolf because he doesn't really want to see my replay. Then just send me the note via this little blurb right here. I will get it, and I'll be able to then Control C copy, bring it over to the browser, Control V paste, and go find your replay. All right, guys, that is it. That should be pretty much all you really need to know about how to send me a replay. Remember, number one, you've got to enable the replays in the UI. Okay, number two, wattreplays.eu is where you want to put it. Number three, go find where your replays live. They should, in general, if you don't mess around with them too much, be in games, World of Tanks replays. Pretty easy. If you have put your game on another hard drive somewhere or on another directory, go ahead and go find that, and then you can dig those replays out. Once you do that, upload it to wattreplays.eu and send me the link to the Watt Replays EU page where that thing lives. Should be pretty easy. I hope this helps you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel, it's down on the bottom down there in the description on lots of ways to do it. For all of you who are supporting the channel, thanks very much. I definitely appreciate it, and we will see you. I knew I was going to forget something. Before you get away, just one more quick thing. If you want to watch your replays, all you have to do is double click them, but you need to be out of your client. So close your client, double click on that, and it will open up in World of Tanks. If it does not, then you have to associate that file with World of Tanks, which you go ahead and go right, and you go open with. You click open with, and you don't want to, you go more apps, and then go find, look for another app, go find your worldoftanks.exe, and then associate those files with it. I don't want to change it because I've already done it. All right, it should work, but if it doesn't, you're going to have to associate the file with World of Tanks. All right, that's all I've got. Now we're leaving. See ya.